In the early morning of July 4th, 2008, someone called the police to report a suspicious parked vehicle with its trunk open. When the police arrived, they were horrified to find several dismembered bodies tied up in trash bags. The bags were stuffed inside a red 1993 Nissan Subaru Tinto. One of the mutilated bodies was the former commander of the State Police Unit Centaur. Roberto Villagran Torres' torso was found inside one of the bags. The commander had suffered a painful end. His back was cut into shreds. All of his limbs were hacked off one by one, and then finally he was decapitated. All of this happening while he was still conscious, right up until the end. The man responsible for the crime was Manuel Torres Felix, also known as El Ondeado or El M1. El M1 was a legendary figure in the narco world. His brother was heavyweight trafficker Javier Torres Felix. After his brother Javier was captured by Mexican Army Special Forces in 2004, Manuel stepped up to take over his brother's group of gunmen. Manuel was a high-level security chief and trafficker for El Mayo Zambada. This is why when the Civil War broke out in 2008, the Torres family were on the front line fighting against Beltran Leyva gunmen and their Zeta allies. When Arturo Beltran Leyva declared war against his former partners, it was more than just a street war over profits and power. Arturo felt that Chapo had committed the ultimate betrayal. The Beltran brothers suspected that Chapo was the one that gave up the location of their brother Alfredo. The Civil War was brutal. The Beltran Leyva brothers went on the attack. Manuel was a security chief working for El Mayo, and since Mayo was back in El Chapo, the Torres family had to be taken down. Manuel was proud of his kids, especially Tachio, Atanasio Torres Acosta. He was known to his friends and family as Tachio. Atanasio, like his brothers, joined the family business. He was at his father's side running coke loads and coordinating operations. For that reason, he was a valuable target to his enemies. First, they ambushed El M1's nephew, Joel, while out on the town. He survived. Joel had a lucky streak for years. He would go on to survive at least 2 more shootings. On April 18, 2008, Tachio was driving around with his younger sister and his wife. He was trying out his new truck, a red Lincoln Mark LT. His truck was intercepted by a hit team. Like any solid Sinaloan gangster, he was known to carry a .38 Super, so it was no surprise that Tachio put up a fight. The hit team killed him with AK-47s and a hail of automatic fire. His little sister ended up losing an arm as a result of the attack, while Sandra, who was now a widow, was also wounded. It was later confirmed the Beltran Leyvas were behind the attack. El M1 went into a mix of rage and painful grief over losing his son Tachio. It was that day when he found out about his son's death that he lost his mind. Although not completely, he lost his mind in the sense that any restraint he had over his violent nature was now gone. It is said that as the family was keeping vigil over Atanasio's body, his father gave one simple order to his pistoleros: find everyone on the list of names, anyone that worked for the Beltran Leyva brothers, including police. That night, and for several more weeks, over 100 people turned up dead all over Culiacan. El M1 personally tortured men like the police commander found in the trunk of the Nissan. But one of the people El M1 killed was the younger brother of Chalito Araujo, leader of Los Charritos, a notorious group of gunmen led by the 19-year-old. When Manuel killed his younger brother, the young boss swore revenge for the murder. Chalito and El M1 would go on to fight a brutal street war over the next several months. El M1 was always prepared for death. He just never imagined his own son would become a casualty. People say that after Atanasio's death, Manuel was never the same. El M1 would meet his end 4 years later at the hands of an Army Special Forces team. He was cornered in the very same mountains he ruled over.